right. Good morning, everyone. So here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to start this off right away without too much chat there. So here's the thing. I was sitting and I was thinking, as I normally do, about this Google Analytics 4, and I was like, I really don't like it. And all of the people I was talking to, all of the clients I was discussing this with, no one was like, "Yay, this is the most favorite thing in the world." Because it just didn't satisfy people's needs. It's very like fully rounded the tool, and you can do a ton of things, but it requires a shit ton of calibration. And it's also a new way of thinking about the analytics that might not suit very like a lot of people. So I started researching. Are there any alternatives to this thing that we've been sort of pushed into? And one of my friends, Philip, he pointed me in the right direction, because he pointed me in the direction of Piwik Pro, the guys I've invited today. And I started researching, and it ticked off a lot of the boxes that I've had concerns around, mainly due to privacy and to GDPR, and also in terms of cookie consent. So here is one of the things that I find very interesting. Like, we are required not only by GDPR, but by a lot of other legislation in Sweden to ask for consent to track people on a website. Now, most of the time that is like a separate tool, so it's not integrated with your web analytics. What I found really interesting with Piwik Pro was that not only could you build the kind of audiences that like I'm interested in when I'm marketing, but you could also ask for cookie consent in the same tool, and that sort of integrated process makes your headache a lot less bad, because just think about like the contacts with IT, you reduce it by half, at least half. Either way, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Piotr. I don't know if I pronounced your name right. I didn't ask about that yesterday, but Piotr, welcome. Tell us a little bit about who you are and the company that you work for.
Hi, yeah. Well, the pronunciation was close enough. So my name is Piotr. I'm in online marketing for like 8 years. I've been working on client side, I've been working on agency side, and now since late 2018, I'm with Piwik Pro on a product vendor side, as currently as the head of customer experience. And yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So when I reached out to you, I must just underline, like, there is no like commercial deal between us. So this is a pure recommendation from my end. And like, when we talked about this, I asked you to prepare some like 15-minute presentation, because I think it's important that people, sort of get a base layer. Because I think one of the things that people are concerned about is like, is this comparable to GA4, or can I use this tool that I haven't heard about before? So, if you may, can you please just give us a quick run through of what Piwik Pro is, and like how I can utilize it?
Most definitely, I'll be happy to. Let me just set up myself, and yeah. So what I've prepared for today, I don't have any like scenario. My idea for this is just to walk you through some basic stuff, and then let's see how it goes. If you feel like want to explore a certain area, I'm happy to improvise. Plus, I also have some handy slides that might help us later on with some more complex stuff. Yeah, so Piwik Pro is a mature yet very modern analytics stack. It's composed of 4 modules. There is the analytics module, there is the tag manager module, content manager, built in one, as you said, and then there is the customer data platform that is currently in beta. And I'm going to walk you through all the models real quick, But before even going there, let me just highlight one thing, because as you said, it's important to reduce the intensivity of headache when it comes to the initial installation. So all 4 modules, CDP, Tag Manager, Analytics, and Consent Manager, it comes down to a single code snippet that you need to send to your IT department, and usually that's that. So everything else is configured via the user interface, and with the enterprise plan, you get implementation hours as well. I mean, you can get implementation hours. So if you're worried about resources on your end when it comes to the config and all that nerdy stuff, we got you covered. So as you can see here, there are a number of ways to integrate. There is the vanilla code snippet. There is the WordPress connector. You can use even GTM in order to deploy Piwik Pro. It's not a recommended approach. Then we have then we have the SDKs for various web technologies, and then we have also SDKs for mobile apps. Yeah. Nice. So that's that when it comes to the implementation. Now, when it comes to the analytics module, I would rather refer to Universal Analytics than GA4, because when it comes to the structure and when it comes to what's available out of the box from the moment you actually deploy the snippet, the scope of data tracked, the reports and everything else is much closer to what you get with Universal Analytics. So,
and for those of you who are watching, who are unsure of what Universal Analytics is the Google Analytics you're using right now if you haven't switched to GA4, just to make sure that you know it's the thing that you have that you like right now.
Yeah, the one with the big counter that appeared last week and says that it's soon to be gone. Yeah, so let me walk you real quick through the analytics module. So this is the dashboard section. So you're going to have dashboards composed of different widgets. There are several types of widgets. And when it comes to the configuration, and that not only applies to widgets, but pretty much to anything, well, almost anything else as well, there is a very easy drag and drop mechanics where you have all your metrics and dimension organized, and you can just drag the objects of your choice in order to configure stuff, from very simple stuff like widgets to most complex things like audiences in the customer data platform. But yeah, we'll get there. When it comes to the built-in reports, we do have reports divided into several sections. There is the audience section, acquisition section, behavior section, and conversion section. And
wait, I saw something there. It says heat map there.
Yeah.
Does that actually work?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
However,
yeah.
I think that I don't have the add-on installed that would enable me to present that.
Yeah. I didn't forewarn you for that one, but I just wanted to make a note of it because we've seen the heat map in GA or in Google Analytics, but it hasn't really worked for us. So yeah.
Yeah. So this one does, but you have to take my word for that. Right. So when it comes to the built-in reports, you'd probably feel like home here because everything is built on the very similar concept when you think of metrics or dimensions, because it just works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a few of those reports, and that should give you an idea of what you can expect, and then I'll just present the rest of the tool. So this one here is just a basic dashboard that shows you a general healthcare, the general health status, let's say, of your incoming traffic. So that's that. The next one is quite interesting because it is one of several places in the system where you could utilize single user perspective. So each tab over here represents a single session. And upon extending that session, on the left, you can see some details when it comes to the user. So here we have IP address, visitor ID, cookie ID, all that stuff. Of course, you can track it, but you don't have to. If your compliance department is against it, no worries, we can anonymize it all. So that is just an example. And then on the right, we have log of events that particular session was composed of. So that is how granular data you can analyze. So event by event, you can just look at different stuff. Plus, you can apply segments to this. So obviously, there is no point on looking at each incoming session event by event, but maybe you'd like to create a segment and then analyze it further, because maybe you have, I don't know, several users that spend a lot of cash on your e-commerce platform, and you want to see what's going on. So that's that. Then we have one of usual reports, but I'd like to stop for a sec here, because this report is built on the very same framework that most of the reports are. So I'll just explain this one, and then we'll slide through the other ones. So there is the graph on the top. You can plot series of metrics on the graph. You can group it by different amount of time. And then there is the table at the bottom. And this table right here is a nested table, meaning that you can just click through it to kind of dig down through the dimensions in order to get more specific information on stuff that is currently interesting for you. And then we have several tabs at the top of the table. So you can use those in order to display different dimension breakdown. What is also cool when it comes to the built-in report is that blue button over here, the customize button, because whenever you want to add extra context to your report, you can just utilize another drag and drop mechanism. So let's say that I'd like to add some geographical context to this report. So let's start with country, and let's go with city. And let's add some browser information. So let's go with name and version. And the same goes with metrics. So if I'd like to add another metric here, I can just again drag and drop the item here.
Nice.
Hit the create a report button, and it's there. So whenever you need to extend your report with something, you can just do it. And I should have probably say that at the beginning, but the data we're currently looking at, this is one of our demo environments. So those data are generated data. It will not always make sense, but it's more than enough to showcase the capabilities of the tool.
For sure.
So back to the reports. The devices and software reports and the framework I was referring to, most of the reports are built on that. So I will just highlight some key information. So custom dimensions. Industry standard that is widely recognized and used, and we do have custom dimensions in scope of sessions and in scope of events. So if you have a setup with ton of custom dimensions, there is it is entirely possible to just map it to Piwik Pro or build a new one, because switching a tool, it's a great opportunity to do some cleanup in your analytics environment, to get rid of stuff you don't want to track or you shouldn't track, and to make it more robust, more up to date. And how often you change the analytics vendor? Not that much. So that might be an opportunity you don't want to miss. Then we have the acquisition section. So usual stuff. We have a report that divides your traffic by channels, so you know how people well, how you generate traffic, incoming traffic to your website. You can have it divided by channels or source/medium. Plus, when it comes to the channels breakdown, this is our default one, but we also have custom channel grouping. So if that's not what you want, if that's not what you need, we're good. You can just configure your own channel breakdown, and it will work. We have the search engine section, and here you have incoming traffic divided by search engines. In this particular example, based on those dummy data, we have Bing and Google, but we obviously recognize all the major players plus a lot of minor ones. That's that. Then there is a section for websites and social. So other referrals that are not search engines, we have them divided into websites and social media platforms. And again, those are just the example. We recognize way more. Then we have campaign section. And it is also important to understand that when it comes to the campaigns, we do recognize UTM parameters as industry standard. That means that you don't want to worry about all that links that you've tagged with your UTMs in order to learn about what generates your traffic, because it will be identified out of the box. So that's something that makes stuff convenient. Then we have Google Search Console and Google Ads reports, because of course it's impossible not to recognize Google as industry leader when it comes to search ads, etc. And we don't want our users to not be able to benefit from all that data collected when it comes to the positions in search engine result pages, or when it comes to the campaigns. So those are another reports that are available. Actually, what I did before our session is I disconnected those because those were connected to our actual accounts, both Google Search Console and Google Ads. And while it works when we are showing our demos for clients, I just didn't want that to be flying on YouTube. So that's why I had to just disconnect them.
I get that.
So that's that. Then we have the behavior section. So another classic report, the pages report, so just a list of URL addresses with some basic metrics. And then again, for each and every report, there is the customize button you can use if you want to add a ton of new stuff. Plus, there is the additional dimension selector that you can utilize in order to add something similar to secondary dimension from UA. So that's that. Then we have tabs on top. There is page titles, so pretty much the same report, yet not based on URL addresses, but on the page titles. We have entry pages report, so the place where you should analyze the bounce rate. Quite the opposite, exit pages and the page speed reports. Another things that are just industry standards would be internal search tracking. That's there. And if you have search engine based on the parameters in the URL, all you need to do in order to configure that is just name that parameter. And Piwik would just capture that. We have outlink reports, download reports, custom events report, which is quite similar to what you currently have in GA. So there are there are 4 attributes, 3 descriptive attributes and 1 numerical attribute. 2 of them are must-have, so pretty much the same. Then we have content performance report. Actually, let me do one thing, because as you can see, a lot of reports are empty here, and that's because I wanted to use the environment with the customer data platform already installed. But I have another environment, and that will make the discussion a bit easier, and then we can just get back to the one with CDP when showcasing CDP. So when it comes to custom events, we have similar granularity. So we have event category, event action, event name. You can assign value to custom events, and that is the recommended approach. It's there, it's available. Then we have content performance reports, and content performance is something that enables you not only track interactions with certain elements on the page, so clicks into the button or completing a form, but that actually enables you to count impressions. So if you have a new call to action button in the middle of your blog post, you don't need people to click on it. You can just, I mean, of course you need people to click on it, but my point was that you can analyze how many people actually seen that button when it was available on the screen. So that is something interesting. Then we have conversion attribution modeling section. So what you have here is you can compare the last click model, the default model, with all the classic stuff that used to be available in GA. So, I mean, the conversion attribution topic is a topic that could take us the whole episode to discuss. So what I'd like to do now is just highlight that what you can do here is you can compare different models. You can build your own model, and then you can analyze conversion paths and data conversion. So you can analyze the multi-session conversion path in order to see how the media you're utilizing contribute to revenue generation. Then we have the days to conversion report, which instantly says that instantly tells you how much time it usually takes for your user to convert, and this way you could decide on, for example, how long you want to keep your users on that remarketing list. So you can just take insights from this, and path length, a bit similar thing. So that one answers the question, how many times do I need to have my user interact with my content in order to convert? So another thing that translates directly into your campaign settings.
Yeah.
So that's that. Then we have page timing reports, and page timing reports are those are actually timings that are fetched directly from user browser, and that's why we see no data here a lot, because no browser is actually involved into the generation of the data. But what I wanted to show you is I wanted to show you how granular it is, because hold on. So let me just make that 10. And when it comes to granularity, because usually you get page load time and it's still fine. I mean, that's an important factor. But what you have with this report is what actually contributes to that total page load time. And that could be pure gold for your IT department in order to optimize stuff. And as we know, page load time is a very important ranking factor.
Can I just pause you for a little bit, because we have
Sure.
2 questions here. One from Miona Matar, and I answered this in the comments, but let's just bring it up. As I understand it, you can't import the historical data from Google Analytics to your platform. That's correct, right?
Yes, I'm afraid that is correct. We've made a decision that it would not be. It would not be possible. What you can do is, what you can do is you could export it somewhere else and then just keep it like this. But we obviously considered that path. I mean, this is a question that we get quite often. But since the data model is a bit different, the best we could do would be aggregated data, and then aggregated data is not useful enough to actually justify the cost. That's why we decided not to do that.
And I know there are some things going on behind the scenes right now where Google might be forced to make the data available in better formats. So there might be a change to this that will come out of our rules about competition and such things in the European Union and also in the US. So we'll see what happens in this, but it is an important question to consider. We also have a question here from Svetlana, and she asks, which visualization tool do you recommend to use with Piwik Pro? Something similar to Looker Studio?
Well, it depends, and actually, you can just use Looker Studio if that's what you currently use, and if that's what works for you.
Yeah.
But what we have is a Tableau connector, so that's one thing you can use. We have the Looker Studio connector. What we also have is we can export raw data to various destinations, for example, AWS S3, Azure Blob, BigQuery, and then you can connect that to any BI tool you need. Plus, we also have raw data API, and that also enables you to pull your data to pretty much anything. So
for those of you who are working in a let's say in a Power BI environment, which I know a lot of companies are and have been a little bit frustrated about how they should pull data to that, I think this is a pretty neat configuration to do that easier than before.
Yeah, and actually. That was a great question, and it led me to one thing I should have probably mentioned earlier. So our philosophy of creating software is no walled gardens. So we don't want to make you use specific tool for visualization, because we want to use what's comfortable for you. What we do, what we have, and what we provide is the APIs that enable you to just fetch those data, because those are your data, and you should be able to do whatever with it. So that's our approach.
Nice. Seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Right. So that was page timings reports, and the last section is video analytics. Just real quick, it is a set of reports that enables you to assess video consumption on your website. So we have very basic stuff such as just the number of plays, unique plays, plus other general metrics. And then we have that divided by country, device, traffic source, players, or video events. We also have.
Can I ask there? Does that require some kind of like what kind of implementation does that require? Am I required to add the events triggers for that, or?
Let me show you. So it requires using tag template, which is pretty fine for you, and the whole config comes down to in this case selecting whether or not you want to track progress or maybe just the events, and then selecting the trigger, which for those kinds of events would be just all page views where the player is available. So the implementation is quite seamless.
Nice.
Thank you. So that's that. And then we have the video flows report. So it kind of shows you how people interact with the player, what events are followed by which events, and how many people actually get to the end of that. And you can have either video flow of interactions before the video is watched, or you can have the user flow of interactions after starting a video. So the key interaction would be just pressing the play button, and then you can analyze the right. So how people interact with my players. That's that. Then we have video engagement, which is a funnel.
I'm just gonna pause you there, just to like. I hope not like everyone saw that, because it's like one of those things that pretty much comes out of the box here. That is that I get the question all the time. Like, like with the videos, like how do people actually consume our content. So in terms of
Yeah.
analyzing quality, this is like, it's fairly useful, I would say. So thank
It
you.
is. Thank you. Then we have a video engagement report, which really is a funnel that shows you where people drop off when it comes to consumption of your video content. And
Right.
then we have video timings, and this is just this is a graph that it reflects the timeline of your video, and based on this graph, you can see, all right, so what events people tend to generate within those time frames. So that's that. And that concludes the built-in report section. Then we have the custom report section, and just real quick, you could have the following type. So there is a flat table, which is just a table, nothing too exciting. Then there is the Explorer report, and the Explorer report is the one I've shown you when I was customizing that devices and software report. Then we have bar chart, line chart, so classic visualizations, and then we have those three most interesting. So we have a funnel, user flow, and attribution. And let's see what's here, so I could show you the config. So not much data, but it will still do. So when it comes to to funnels in Piwik Pro, you could do. Funnels are obviously something that is another industry standard, but there is still a number of things that are quite cool that you can do with the funnel mechanism in Piwik Pro. So first of all, you can use many different kinds of events. So that could be page visits, clicks, custom events, so pretty much anything. But you can also have content impressions, content interactions, and you can also build a funnel based on the consent decision of your users.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me unfold this a bit. So this actually means that if, let's say, I would like to analyze what content is more valuable than other content in terms of, driving conversion. So if I want to make an analysis on what type of content should I produce to drive conversions, this would enable me to do that, set that up.
Yeah, that would. And then actually the user flow report may be even better solution. However, if you had a thesis that there is like the process you'd like your user to follow on the website, and there are many different elements involved, and for example, content such as, again, hero banner or call to action that you don't even need to click, but you want people to see, you can use that as a step in a funnel to kind of validate your thesis. If you assume that, for example, the non-clickable element on the website somehow contributes to that conversion, you can use it as a step in a funnel. You can even make it optional in order not to include only people who seen that particular element, and then you can analyze how it really contributed to the conversion. And when it comes to those steps being optional, that is another cool thing about this report, because you don't need to use the exact sequence of events you want to follow. You can have steps that are optional. You can have steps that are completed indirectly after previous steps. So you can customize that funnel to be an open funnel where you can join in the middle, or you can just have a set of milestones that drive that ultimate goal of yours, whatever that might be. And I said that user flow might be even better to analyze the example you referred to, because if you have different type of content, you could use those as the key interaction here on the first step, and then in this case, the key interaction is just visiting a homepage. The point of this report was just analyzing, okay, so what people do
before
once they're, but you could set up it really easy so the first step would reflect that particular content elements we were referring to, because again, this example was page view, but you can have content impression here, and then you'd have the actual you could analyze the actual path the user takes when it comes to those content elements. And
Nice.
and
And do I set the labels on those pages myself, or are they just fetched from the?
No, they are fetched, plus you can choose what you want to fetch, because there is the
interaction name. Yeah, I see. I see.
So
Here's one of the things, like the user flow in Universal Analytics. One of the problems with that report is that it's essentially impossible to read the page headings, and that's just like one of the small little details that are frustrating with that. But this makes total sense. Can I ask you? We have a question here that I cannot answer, and it's from Miona. And do you have machine learning AI capabilities in the dev roadmap, e.g., next best action recommendation engine?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's on the roadmap, because when it comes to like the defined, specified roadmap, it's something that we are already quite clear that we'll deliver. However, what I can reveal is that we currently triggered the AI initiative within the company, and we're currently analyzing how our users could benefit from it, in the same time being compliant and secure. So it definitely is a direction we are exploring, and there are already some quite neat ideas that utilize AI while being secure and safe in the same time, because our angle was always privacy and security. However, it will probably take some time before it will be available for our users. But yeah, we are exploring that path.
Nice. Also nice to hear from my perspective that you're taking the chill pill path on that one, because I'd like to, because like when I think about the export functions and the API connectors, like I'm able to use your tool to get the data and process it with AI if I so wish. But to know that you guys are looking at it, it's nice and fine. but I mean, I would not want to have that's one of the reasons why I'm moving away from the analytics products from the big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the hype for the technology is real, and we are aware of that. But what we want to make sure is that, again, the highest privacy and security standards are delivered. But sooner or later, it just has to happen. I mean, I think there is no doubt about that at this point. Right.
Can I ask you, because like now I think people have gotten the sense that okay, we're actually getting what we want here in terms of analytics. Could you just quickly have a look at the cookie consent feature of the analytics tool?
Okay, I think that the best approach would be, I got an idea. So what I'd like to explain before showcasing the actual interface is that our consent management tool works on the level of tag management. It works very closely with the tag manager. That's why I've chosen the tag manager instead of consent manager from this menu over here. Because what we do is the idea for consent management with Piwik Pro is that each third-party tracking pixel or any other snippet that processes your user data in any way is deployed through the tag manager. And we only fire those tags for which the consent has been given, which means that we are not blocking any cookie files, because we are on a more fundamental level, because we won't even fire the code snippet that would create cookie in the first place. So that's important to just explain for the beginning. And now I'm going to show you the config, and I'm going to show you some examples how it looks like from user perspective. So actually, I can take any tag here. So let's just use this call conversion tag. So what is unique when it comes to the tag manager is that you have the constant type setting available here. So each tag should have a constant type assigned, and the constant type is nothing different than the data processing purpose under which you like to fire a tag or not. By tag, I mean you can think of it as Facebook pixel, for example, and then you'd probably have the remarketing constant type, and each tag should have the constant type assigned, and that translates directly to what you can see. For example, here, this is one of our demo websites. This one is actually connected to this particular environment. So let me just do some amendments here. And real quick, so what you see here reflects exactly the set of tags that are available here. And on the right, you can see the tag manager debugger. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to agree to those two data processing purposes. And as you will see, some tags, including the anonymization, tag fired. So that is the level on which it works. When it comes to the banner can be customized. This one here is an example of a banner on our corporate website. So you can have it either as a regular pop-up or a bottom bar. This one here enables you to display detailed view or not. And then again, the tags will only fire upon accepting specific data processing purposes.
So let's unfold this. So how it works today is that you have a cookie consent manager, or you purchased a license for that, and it's expensive, and you have to configure it, and you have to map that and match that with the different cookies that you're firing, and that's everything that's going on today. Like if you don't use Piwik Pro, and so this is sort of the shut up moment when I was looking at this, because it's like, it's in theory, it's not the most complex thing to understand or wrap your head around. But in practice, to make it this simple, it's like I can comply with law very easily here. And I can feel safe that my documentation of what kind of tracking I'm asking from the user is actually permitted by the user. And so like it's easy to implement, and I can do justice to the visitors of my website. And as I understand it, you don't lose the information like when they do this. And this has been like, so many configuration errors in terms of cookie consent, and companies that have been tracking data without knowing that they track them, and by doing so, they are like regretfully breaking the law. But this makes it very easy not to break the law, and also be, on your user's side, which I find, very, very compelling in terms of all the discussions around privacy going on. And I think we have some other people who think the same thing. I bring in Henry here, who has the same reaction as I did when I saw this the first time.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a cool take. And so I just want to say two things. So even though, because I'm not saying that the other way is bad. I mean, when it comes to blocking those cookies and kind of work on the stuff that was already deployed on the website. However, there are some downsides. I mean, consider race conditions.
Yeah.
Because it will, even if it's a split second, it will take time before the let's say regular content management tool identifies and blocks that cookie. And what happens in between probably depends on the configuration. But even in a scenario where everything works perfectly, there is no race conditions. You either deploy those cookies or not. Depending on the tool we are considering, blocking cookies might not be enough in order to block tracking, because there are many different technologies. So you might end up with some things blocked, some things not blocked, and the thing is that we are considering like vast groups of marketing tools. There are plenty, and it's almost impossible to understand how it will behave if you just block a cookie file, because it may still collect some data, or it might just provide you with wrong data, and then if there is a misconfiguration in place, you will just have your data wrong, which is it translates directly to losing money, and that's not that was one thing I wanted to say, but not the most important one. The most important thing, and I think that it will be even better than the built-in content manager, is that you can do several things when your visitors don't consent for being tracked. So there is like the most strict way. If a user refuses to give you consent for being tracked, you just don't collect data. All good, all safe. We see a lot of those for the most strict sectors, such as healthcare or government. But you can also collect anonymized aggregated data, a data that won't allow you to identify a user. So you won't have new versus returning, all that stuff, because that's the whole point. You collect data in a way that you cannot identify a user. However, you still keep session data. You don't lose all that traffic. So if you consider any other analytics tool with any other content management tool configured properly, configured in line with various privacy regulations, if you don't get a consent, you don't get any data. So you would lose up to, well, it depends on the study, but up to 60-70% of data. And here you can choose one of the anonymous modes that enables you to collect some data, mostly session data. Again, you won't be able to use new versus returning. The geolocation won't be that accurate, because you want to do your best to anonymize those users, but still you are getting some data. And I think that is even more important in this scenario, and in considering what the built-in privacy settings can do for you.
Cool.
Right.
I know we have 12 minutes left. I would like you to just briefly talk about the CDP. I know it's in beta, but like, what are the CDP capabilities in your? Is that in the enterprise solution?
Yes, CDP is only in the enterprise solution, and let's see, because when it comes to CDP, I can do two things. Let me close this environment, and so what we are going to do is I'm going to log in here. That can go away. That is the CDP. But before even going there, what I'd like to do is I want to use the slide I've created for that, just to highlight some things that could be interesting when it comes to the CDP. So
so what is your definition of a CDP? Let's just start there. Like, what is it? It's a place where you can do what?
So when it comes to CDP, you can do several different things there, and I think that this will be quite quite helpful here. So it enables you to integrate your behavioral data that were collected either from your website or web app or even native app with other stuff. For example, with your CRM data, with your offline data, with anything you really need. And based on those data, you could define audiences of users. So it could be people who have items in cart but not yet converted, for starters. Easy classic example that you can think of multiple use cases in how to activate that segment. But you can also build very complex things based on, again, your offline data connected to your CRM data. And one thing is data collection. The other thing is combining those data into visitor profiles and then combining those profiles into audiences. But what is even more exciting and even more interesting is activating those audiences. So you can do many different things with that kind of data. So anything that could accept a webhook can be integrated with our CDP. Then we have also integration platforms, and that literally gives you thousands of integrations that are ready to use with various CRMs, marketing tools, advertising tools. Pretty much it allows you to connect with almost anything there is. And then there is also the personalization element to it, because what is also quite unique for the Piwik Pro Tag Manager is, let me show you. So apart from being able to just choose the data processing type, what you can also do for each tag is bear with me for a sec.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm amazed. Yeah. It's a live demo and nothing has crashed yet. So that's usually what happens. Whenever you have a live demo of something, everything like starts. But yeah. So
yeah, I was just saying that I think that demo effect got us, but
yeah.
Hold up, because what I'm looking for is the. Or I think that I need to enable something here. Hold up. So what I wanted to showcase and what I will most probably still be able to do is that. So let's try that. Let me refresh this. And my point was that what you can do is you can decide for which audience your tag would be fired or not. But yep, that's the demo effect right there.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you have to take my word for.
No, but however, let me just unbox that. One of the things we are like, if I look at like large, when I analyze large, like ad campaigns, for example, one of the biggest wastes in that is what we refer to as like the lack of a burn tag. So let's say that someone purchases something. And then they are still in the audience of like in-market people, but you're buying traffic towards them with the same kind of advertising as you did to make them purchase. Now, this is a really simple management where you can insert the burn tag where they are either removed from an audience or transferred into, like, let's say, a customer audience, where you can use different type of advertising to, for example, reconfirm someone's like purchase. One of the most like fascinating effects that I've seen is that if someone has made a purchase from you, and then you advertise, like, let's say, a top list where their choice was number one, you advertise to that, you get a ton of shares from that ad because people are happy that they made the right choice. And this is a very easy, like a simple management tool in which you can create those burn tags and then optimize your advertising automatically. You still have to configure it and think like, what are those conditions into which you want to put these users, but it will save you a ton of money. If you're running big ad campaigns, you don't want to advertise to people who have already purchased unless you actually do. So and I see a lot of money being wasted in that space.
Yeah, that is like a great observation, and you can utilize that thing to actually run webhooks when a user either joins or leaves the audience. So the point is that the use case you've just described is just great. It's just money lying out there, and you can use the CDP in order to manage that kind of audiences. And again, you can even use your offline data in order to do so. So even if it's not possible in your case to purchase directly on the website, you can still utilize that, not to burn your marketing budget.
No. Cool. I mean, from my perspective, I think we've established the alternative base in this. I think it is a strong alternative for those of you who have these kinds of needs in terms of privacy, cookie management. You want to integrate with things that are not Google and that might be Google. You might be running, BigQuery already, and you just want a safer way to collect data about your users and then be able to use it either in your app or in your. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been frustrated about the Firebase integration. This can actually fix a lot of that. And so for those of you who are watching, I think you've seen enough of this. And one thing I'd like to ask you just before it's 4 minutes left, I just want to ask you, how can people reach you, and how do you go about doing this? Because there is a core version and that's free. That doesn't include the CDP. But how do people reach you if they want to reach out?
Right. So this is our corporate website, Piwik.pro, and it actually gives you everything you need in order to either use the free version or to get a custom demo of the enterprise mode. Yeah. So it's just that easy.
Nice. And on social media, are you active? Do you share a lot of stuff there, or do you blog, or do you do any YouTube stuff?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I try to share things there. My PR manager is not happy enough with the volume I'm sharing at the moment, but getting better every day. So yeah, you can definitely find me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to connect.
Nice. So if you guys have any questions, last question, usually questions drop in after we've ended the stream. But if you have any questions, just throw them in now. Just be mindful that we have 30-second wait. So we'll answer those questions in the comments later. I'll ping you, Piotr, if someone asks questions I can't answer. Other than that, thank you for being with me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And let's catch up later on and follow up and see what the development of Piwik will be. Have a great day, everyone, and let's check in the 1 week. I will actually have a discussion with Sten Rasmussen, the Great Dane, about what an alternative is and what it means. It will be a little bit more philosophical than this, but thanks, man, for being here.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers, guys.